Ladies and gentlemen, there are those who walk among us, yet they are not ordinary. They do not conform, they do not settle, they do not simply exist. They are set apart. They are the chosen ones, the ones whom destiny calls, the ones marked by heaven for something greater. But let me tell you, to be chosen is not a privilege. It is a responsibility. And there are certain things, uncommon things, that happen only to those who are truly set apart. There are those who chase ambitions, and then there are those who are pursued by something far greater. Vision. Vision is not a product of intellect, nor is it a product of desire. It is an invisible force that grips the soul, arrests the mind, and refuses to let go. It is not chosen, it chooses. It does not negotiate, it commands. It does not suggest, it demands. And those upon whom it rests can never again live a life of ease. Vision is not the same as sight. Sight is the function of the eyes, but vision is the function of the heart. Sight sees what is, vision sees what could be. Sight reveals the present, vision reveals the future. And the burden of vision is that it often shows a reality that does not yet exist, yet demands that it be brought to life. Those who carry it wake up restless. They lie down but cannot sleep. They walk among men but feel as though they exist in another realm. While others are entertained by the trivial, they are consumed by the eternal. It is not ambition. It is a divine assignment that disrupts comfort and invades the mind without permission. There is a weight that comes with seeing what others cannot see. A man with vision is a foreigner in his own land because he speaks of things that have not yet appeared. He sees a city before it is built. He hears music before it is played. He speaks of victories before the battle has begun. And because of this, he is misunderstood. The burden of vision isolates before it elevates. It demands separation before it grants manifestation. Those who carry it find themselves set apart not by choice, but by necessity. They no longer fit into the mold of the familiar because they have glimpsed something too great to ignore. The weight of vision is its inability to be ignored. It is not an option, it is an obsession. It does not wait for permission, it demands action. It does not consider convenience, it commands sacrifice. The man who carries it cannot rest because every moment of idleness feels like a betrayal of destiny. While others sleep, he strategizes. While others celebrate, he calculates. While others are distracted, he is devoted. The burden of vision creates a holy frustration, a divine discomfort that refuses to let the carrier settle for mediocrity. And yet, vision is not just a burden of knowing, it is a burden of responsibility. To see the future is to be responsible for its manifestation. To receive revelation is to be accountable for its execution. Vision does not come to the lazy. It does not rest upon the indifferent. It seeks those who are willing to pay the price, those who are willing to carry the weight of something greater than themselves. It does not visit the idle, for it requires hands that are willing to build, feet that are willing to walk, and hearts that are willing to believe. The burden of vision does not ask for understanding from those who do not carry it. It is foolishness to the common mind. It is absurdity to the unawakened soul. Those who have never carried it will mock it, reject it, and even resist it. But the man with vision does not seek approval. He seeks fulfillment. He does not require validation. He requires execution. He is driven not by applause, but by purpose. There is a cost to vision, and that cost is everything. It demands faith when there is no evidence, endurance when there is no support, and courage when there is no encouragement. It asks the impossible and expects the extraordinary. It does not settle, it does not compromise, and it does not retreat. Those who carry it must be willing to walk alone, fight alone, believe alone, until what was once invisible becomes undeniable. There comes a moment in the life of those who are set apart when they realize that the path they walk is not a crowded one. It is a lonely road, carved not by choice but by calling. The weight of destiny does not permit company. For the higher one ascends, the fewer the travelers who can endure the climb. Isolation is not a punishment. It is a requirement. It is the furnace where the chosen are forged, where distractions are stripped away, and where purpose is refined. Those who are called to great things are first called to a season of separation, where the familiar is removed and the comfortable is denied. It is in this space that one begins to understand that true elevation requires solitude. There is a pain that comes with walking alone, a silent suffering that words cannot fully describe. It is not the absence of people that makes it painful, but the absence of understanding. To be surrounded by many but known by none. To speak a language that few comprehend. To carry something so heavy that even those closest to you cannot help bear the load. There is an ache in being misunderstood, in having a vision that others cannot see, in knowing that no matter how much you try to explain, only experience will reveal the truth. It is this agony that forces one into deeper introspection, into moments where even the sound of one's own voice becomes unfamiliar. Those who are chosen are not simply removed from the crowd, they are separated from the ordinary. The higher the calling, the greater the distance from the familiar. It is not rejection, it is refinement. It is not abandonment, it is alignment. Destiny does not permit unnecessary attachments, for not everyone can go where the chosen are sent. There are relationships that must be severed, friendships that must fade, and connections that must be broken. Not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. The burden of purpose is too great to be carried with excess weight. Those who refuse to let go of the past will never embrace the future. Separation is painful because it feels unnatural. Man was created for connection, for fellowship, for companionship. But there are seasons when heaven demands solitude. These seasons are not permanent, but they are essential. It is in isolation that one learns to hear the still, small voice that is often drowned out by the noise of the crowd. It is in isolation that one discovers that validation is an illusion, that true confidence is not found in the approval of others, but in the assurance of purpose. When the applause fades, when the voices of affirmation are silent, when the familiar is no longer present, this is where the chosen discover who they truly are. There is no greatness without separation. The eagle does not fly in flocks, it soars alone. The lion does not hunt in crowds, it moves with precision and purpose. The tree that stands the tallest is the one that has been pruned the most. It is the pain of isolation that produces the strength required for elevation. Those who resist this season delay their own destiny. Those who try to hold on to what must be left behind will find themselves stagnant, trapped in a cycle of frustration and unfulfilled potential. There will be moments when the silence is deafening, when the loneliness feels unbearable, when the desire to return to the familiar is overwhelming. But those who are truly called cannot go back. They cannot unsee what has been revealed. They cannot unknow what has been planted within them. The agony of isolation is the price of distinction, the cost of carrying something that the world has yet to understand. And though it is painful, it is necessary, for in the end, it is in the solitude of separation that the chosen are truly prepared. There is a fire that only the chosen must endure, a furnace that does not consume but refines. It is not the fire of destruction, but the fire of preparation. The weight of destiny is too great to be carried by the untested, for purpose is not given to the weak, it is entrusted to the strong. And strength is not born in comfort, it is forged in adversity. The chosen are not made in moments of ease, but in seasons of fire. The fire does not come to destroy them, but to reveal what is within them. Gold is only gold because it has survived the heat. Diamonds are only valuable because they have endured the pressure. And those who carry great assignments are only qualified because they have walked through trials that others could not survive. The fire does not ask for permission. It comes without warning, consuming everything that is not essential. It burns away pride, strips away selfish ambition, and removes every impurity that could hinder the fulfillment of purpose. The chosen do not go through trials for the sake of suffering. They go through them because the weight of what they carry requires a different level of endurance. The fire does not come to break them. It comes to make them unbreakable. Those who run from the fire forfeit the very thing that was designed to prepare them. But those who endure it emerge with something greater, something that cannot be shaken by the storms of life. Pain has a purpose. The trials that the chosen ones endure are not random. They are intentional. There are lessons that can only be learned through suffering. There is wisdom that can only be gained through experience. There is strength that can only be developed through resistance. The fire teaches what comfort never could. It exposes weaknesses, reveals hidden flaws, and forces the chosen to confront the very things that could one day disqualify them. It is not an enemy. It is a teacher. And those who learn from it are transformed into something that cannot be moved by the opinions of men or the changing circumstances of life. The process of refinement is not comfortable. It is painful, it is lonely, it is exhausting. There will be moments when the chosen ones feel as though they cannot endure another day, when the weight of the fire seems too great to bear. But the fire does not last forever. The pain is not eternal. The furnace has a purpose, and when that purpose is complete, what remains is something stronger, pure, and ready for the assignment that lies ahead. Those who try to escape the fire delay their own elevation. Those who embrace it are the ones who rise. There's no shortcut to greatness. There's no easy path to fulfillment. Every man or woman who has ever carried something significant has walked through a season of fire. The fire does not make them special. It reveals that they were chosen. It is the proof of their calling, the evidence that they have been marked for something greater. And while the untested crumble under the weight of adversity, those who have been through the fire stand unshaken, unafraid, and unstoppable. They know what they carry. They know what it costs them. And they know that they have been prepared for something that no trial, no hardship, no challenge can take away. To be chosen is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. It is not a position of comfort, but a call to sacrifice. The weight of destiny does not rest upon the careless or the indifferent, for it demands a level of commitment that many are unwilling to bear. Those who are entrusted with purpose are not given authority for their own gain. They are given influence for the service of others. The higher the calling, the heavier the responsibility. The greater the assignment, the deeper the sacrifice. The chosen ones do not live for themselves. Their lives are no longer their own. Every decision, every action, every moment carries the weight of something beyond them. While others live for convenience, they live for purpose. While others seek ease, they embrace the burden of leadership. While others are content with mediocrity, they are called to a higher standard. And because of this, they cannot afford to think, speak, or act like everyone else. The weight they carry does not allow it. Responsibility is not given to the weak, it is given to those who have been tested, to those who have proven that they can be trusted with what they have been assigned. It is not about titles or positions. It is about service. True leadership is not measured by status, but by sacrifice. Those who are chosen do not seek to be served. They exist to serve. They do not crave recognition. They carry obligation. They do not ask for power. They accept duty. And because of this, they are often misunderstood. The weight of responsibility is not easy to bear. It requires discipline when others are careless. It demands self-control when others indulge. It calls for vision when others are distracted. The chosen cannot live by feelings, for their emotions cannot dictate their decisions. They cannot afford to be led by the opinions of men, for their path is not determined by public approval. They cannot follow the crowd, for their journey is different. To whom much is given, much is required. And the price of carrying purpose is the willingness to pay that requirement in full. There is no room for excuses in the life of the chosen. They cannot blame circumstances, for they are called to rise above them. They cannot wait for ideal conditions, for destiny does not wait. They cannot seek shortcuts, for greatness is never built on convenience. The weight of responsibility demands action, consistency, and an unwavering commitment to purpose. Those who carry it must be willing to make hard choices, to stand alone when necessary, to endure criticism without losing focus. The weight of responsibility is heavy because it shapes those who carry it. It molds them into what they must become in order to fulfill what they have been assigned. It burns away selfishness, strips away pride, and forces them to grow into the leaders they were meant to be. Those who resist it remain stagnant. Those who embrace it become unstoppable. It is not a burden to be avoided, but a mantle to be carried with honor. The weight does not weaken, it strengthens. The responsibility does not crush, it empowers. And those who accept it without hesitation are the ones who leave a legacy that cannot be erased. There comes a moment in the life of the chosen when comfort is no longer an option. They are not called to ease, they are called to impact. They are not chosen for convenience, they are chosen for purpose. The calling does not invite them to settle, but compels them to move. It does not offer rest, but demands action. And those who are truly called soon discover that comfort is the enemy of destiny. The journey of the chosen is never found on the path of least resistance. It is a road that requires sacrifice, endurance, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. Those who seek only comfort will never fulfill their true assignment. They will be tempted to settle in places that were only meant to be temporary. They will hold on to things that were never meant to remain. But purpose does not allow stagnation. The weight of destiny is too great to be carried in places of complacency. The moment one becomes comfortable, they begin to decline. And those who refuse to move when called will soon find that the very things they sought to hold on to will slip through their fingers. The calling demands separation from the ordinary. It does not permit distractions, nor does it accommodate excuses. It calls men and women out of their familiar surroundings and into the unknown. It is an invitation to step beyond what is safe, to walk into what cannot be seen, to trust in what has not yet been revealed. It is not given to those who require guarantees. It is given to those who are willing to obey without question. Those who wait for certainty will never move. Those who require comfort will never answer. There is a price to purpose, and that price is everything. The chosen must leave behind what is familiar, not because it is bad, but because it is not enough for where they are going. They must be willing to walk away from the predictable, to step beyond the walls of security, to embrace the discomfort that comes with transformation. Growth is never found in comfort. Expansion is never achieved in ease. Those who are unwilling to be stretched will never be enlarged. The ones who make history are not the ones who chose the easy path, but the ones who were willing to step into uncertainty, knowing that purpose is worth the price. The weight of the calling is not carried by the passive. It requires boldness in the face of opposition, courage in the presence of fear, and an unshakable commitment to the assignment. Those who answer it must be willing to stand alone, to be misunderstood, to endure seasons of loneliness and struggle. They must be willing to walk in places where others refuse to go. And in doing so, they discover that the calling itself is the greatest reward. It is not about recognition, nor is it about personal gain. It is about fulfilling what was placed inside of them before time began. There will always be the temptation to remain where it is safe, to settle where it is familiar. But the chosen know that they were not created for mediocrity. They were not designed to live in the shadows of what could have been. They were called to rise, to go beyond, to step into the unknown and embrace the fullness of what they were meant to become. Comfort is an illusion, but purpose is eternal. And those who have truly been called understand that there is no greater tragedy than refusing to answer. The ones who are truly called are not chosen because they are the most gifted, the most talented, or the most qualified by human standards. They are not selected based on appearance, status, or credentials. The calling is not a reward for the prepared. It is the preparation for the chosen. Those who are called are often the ones least expected, the ones overlooked by men but handpicked by purpose. They do not enter their assignment fully equipped. They are shaped through the process. They do not begin as what they must become. They are transformed through trials, challenges, and moments of complete surrender. There is no shortcut to being qualified for the call. The process is unavoidable. It is a journey that strips away the unnecessary, burns away impurities, and reveals the strength hidden within. Those who desire the calling but refuse the process will remain unprepared. The weight of purpose is too great to be carried by the untested. The responsibility of the chosen is too heavy for those who have not endured the fire of preparation. Every great assignment requires an even greater refinement. Every true calling demands an undeniable transformation. The ones who are called are set apart, not to be glorified, but to be made into something useful. The process of qualification is not glamorous. It is often painful, lonely, and filled with moments of uncertainty. It is in these moments that the chosen must decide whether they will embrace the shaping or reject the journey. Many desire the reward of the calling, but resist the sacrifice it demands. They want the influence, but not the discipline. They seek the position, but not the preparation. But purpose does not work that way. It does not give without requiring. It does not promote without testing. It does not elevate without proving. True qualification comes through the breaking. It is not given in comfort, but in struggle. It is developed in the unseen places where no one is watching, where no recognition is given. It is the ability to stand firm when everything is against you. It is the willingness to continue when quitting seems like the better option. It is the endurance to remain faithful when nothing makes sense. The ones who emerge from this process are not the same as they were before. They have been molded by hardship, sharpened by rejection, strengthened by trials. And it is this process that makes them capable of carrying what they were always meant to carry. The calling is not about human qualifications. It is about surrender. Those who try to rely on their own strength will always fall short. Those who believe they are already equipped will soon discover that true readiness only comes through experience. It is not about talent, for talent alone cannot sustain purpose. It is not about intelligence, for knowledge without wisdom leads to failure. It is not about ability, for ability without character is dangerous. The ones who are truly qualified are not those who think they deserve the calling, but those who are willing to be shaped by it. Every season of preparation has a purpose. Every struggle refines. Every challenge strengthens. There is no wasted pain, no unnecessary trial, no purposeless delay. The ones who are called must trust the process, even when they do not understand it. They must embrace the breaking, knowing that it is forming them into what they must become. And when the time is right, when the process has done its work, when they have been fully prepared, they will stand. Not because they were the most qualified, but because they were willing to endure what was necessary to become what they were always meant to be. The chosen ones are not chosen because they are special. They are special because they are chosen. If you have felt the weight of vision, the sting of isolation, the heat of trials, the weight of responsibility, and the calling beyond comfort, then know this: you are not being punished, you are being positioned. For destiny does not call the qualified, it qualifies the called. Walk in it.